Hey everybody, Matt Saletti here. I'm taking a look at some of the advanced things you can do with Komplete Kontrol. I still talk to a lot of people that don't fully understand what this thing is capable of. So let's check out some awesome examples using hardware synths and third-party VSTs. I'll also show you a technique with the control editor to turn Komplete Kontrol into a sophisticated MIDI controller capable of splits, layers, and all that fun stuff. That is absolutely one of my favorite ways to use Komplete Kontrol to control hardware synthesizers and even third-party virtual instruments. So I'm going to show you how to set this all up. What I first want to kind of go through is just a normal use case scenario with Komplete Kontrol. And that's where you might just have some drums going on. These are just dragged and dropped from machine into the Ableton, and then a bass. As you can see, transport control right from the keyboard. Now, if you've never set up the MIDI remote script for Ableton Live, make sure to check out the NI website to check out how to do that. Get that all up and running solid. So, most people are familiar with Komplete Kontrol. They know you can browse through your entire Komplete library to find any instrument. They're all tagged. Everything you need to do from the controller you can do. For instance, when I'm highlighted on that track, I can go ahead and actually manipulate whatever I need. So what I like about it is it's very easy to work with like this. Now, what's really exciting though is when you would start to use Komplete Kontrol and manipulate virtual instruments or hardware synths. So what I've done here is actually created just a empty Komplete Kontrol instance. You can see no scales, no arps or anything, nothing loaded in it. And what I'm doing is taking this track here and pointing it to another empty MIDI track. And this MIDI track is just going to essentially read MIDI from that instance. You can see track 5, Komplete Kontrol. And then what I do down here is select the third section right here. Once these two are selected, for a hardware setup, I'm going to go ahead and use the MIDI out port and connect it to the MIDI in of the micro brute. So once that's selected, you select your MIDI channel, hit record enable, and then let's focus on this instance. So it's controlling the synth just like any other, MIDI controller would. Now where it gets exciting is that you can add in all these features that you're used to using with the Komplete instruments. So I could go ahead and turn on my scale mode. Let's go to edit it. And let's actually set that to, C minor. And now if I play through, you'll also notice that the light guide keeps you from basically hitting wrong notes, telling it, no, you got to play in key. What's great though is with the 1.1 update to Komplete Kontrol, you can turn on guide mode. So the light guide is still going to show you the intervals, but I can hit wrong notes now. So create some tension, break away from the rigors of that scale, all that good stuff. Another cool thing that you might not know is if we're going to use the arpeggiator, so this is a mono synth. If I put it in chord set mode, it's only going to play one note at a time because it's a mono synth. However, when I enable arpeggiator, you can play through that note. And I can even have it holding. The new ARP hold feature is fantastic. You just page over one page and you can turn on the hold. So let's do that. This is missing something too though. What I want to do is actually use Komplete Kontrol as a MIDI controller for the DAW as well. So any Native Instruments hardware, you can put it in MIDI mode. So with this, I hit Shift, Instance, and now it's a generic MIDI controller. And of course, we know in Ableton Live, we can come and map pretty much any parameter. So I've mapped a couple here to a, for instance, a reverb and a delay send. So what's great is you can be playing it and just bounce out. And simply control it like that. Very easy to do, very easy to set up, and really kind of takes it to the next level, I think. The Arturia microbrute doesn't really have an arpeggiator, so now it does thanks to this one. Now another instance might be where you're going to go ahead and, let's chord enable these. What if I want to control a third-party virtual instrument? Let's choose another blank instance of Komplete Kontrol, and this time use the scales, the chord sets. So basically, again, this empty Komplete Kontrol is just pointed to this instance of FabFilter. And you can see here I've got some modulation happening on the cutoff. Well, don't forget that with 1.1 you have a new mod strip option called Tempo. To get to those options, you hit Shift Octave Plus, which is the button above the mod strip, and then you can set it to multiple different styles. With Tempo, you can have a nice kind of throne modulation, as you can see there. The other great thing is if I record anything into your DAW, all those chord sets will actually track out. Same with the arpeggiators. So the arpeggiated line is actually tracked out in a MIDI clip. So we can hear what it sounds like in Very simple, very powerful. Now, moving on. What else can Komplete Kontrol do? Well, it doesn't necessarily host third-party instruments, or not yet. It's coming. One of many free updates on the way. But what happens is that you can actually, with the control editor and putting this as a standard MIDI controller, you can do some amazing stuff. For instance, I could create an entire split, stacked, layered instrument. So what I have here in green is massive. Oops, I gotta record enable. And I've even mapped macro controls. In the purple here, if I move over, I have an instance of the gentleman. Again, with macro capabilities, you can adjust the tone. And then to the right of that, I have an instance of Monarch. And all could be played together, obviously. Or even combined with hardware synths. Let's go ahead and just change this here. You get the idea. So very powerful system, really easy to use, lots of great new improvements coming on the way, but don't sleep on the extra stuff it can offer. Of course, it can do your complete instruments very easily, but it's also broader than that and really is kind of like the new hub of my entire little studio here. So go check one out. Enjoy. Hope this helped.